esteem and honor to the Most High Yah by way of YAHUSHA HaMashiach this day. And John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. Let's look at something, right? Because I got to deal with this. I had this on deck last night too. Go to Luke chapter 21 and verse 23. Because these niggas out here are outright, utterly, and extremely ridiculous. I think they said that the eclipse was on July 20. What is it? I just seen it a couple times. Yeah, so we're going to look at it right now and show you how dumb niggas is. This ain't talking about nothing in America. Absolutely nothing. Luke 21 and 23 though. Matter of fact, not even that there. Luke 21 and 20. So you could get the full context of what is going on and what's actually being imparted. It said, when you shall see Jerusalem encompassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Yehuda flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon his people. Now this is the destruction of Jerusalem that he referring to, and then he gonna get ready to switch it up. When they shall fall by the edge of the sword, they shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing for them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of Shamahin shall be shaken, and then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with great power, with power and great esteem. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draw nigh. Now, I was gonna wait for a particular matter to great detail, but I'll touch one of them now. See, they looking at saying that eclipse was a sign, but there were no signs in the stars. There's definitely not any distress of the nations with perplexity. So let's look at perplexity real fast. The only reason why I'm dealing with this here is just because of present events, and it would be very irresponsible to ignore it, because people putting that stuff out there, so I can't just ignore it. The Greek word for perplexity in this particular verse is aporia. And that is one who's in a quandary. You know, a quandary is a state of, you have a little problems, little questions. So that's what it means when they're being perplexed. And the sea and the waves roaring. So we need to look at something. Let's go to not Genesis, but Revelation chapter 6. Eventually we'll come back to Revelation chapter 6 and deal with it all the way down, but I have no choice but to do this right now. Revelation chapter 6. What may I do for you? What may I do for you? Who are you? Where did you come from? Revelation 6 and verse 12. Where did you come? Well, matter of fact, make it verse 1. I guess I'll give a little bit of understanding of that now. Leah, go sit down. He said, And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were a noise of thunder, and one of the four beasts saying, come and see. So we need to back up one chapter. Matter of fact, don't even back up one chapter. Go to Daniel chapter 12. The whole Revelation. Oh well, I'm just going to have to work it. Daniel 12 and verse 2. Daniel 12 and verse 2. And many of them that sleep, well, matter of fact, just make it verse 1, since we're dealing with the end We have to deal with this here before we transition to what we came here for. At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stand for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. At this present time, is there a time of trouble that's being accomplished upon the earth after this eclipse? Absolutely not. It's hurricane season. Just like this here, right? 2010 was the last time they had 3 hurricanes, and in 1998 they had 4 at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So this is not an uncommon occurrence. One hurricane is hitting Mexico. One, they don't even know if it's going to hit anything. And of course, you know about the one that's coming through now. So again, this is just so the point of that just because stuff happen, and you can see a scripture that somewhere sound like it's talking about what's going on, does not mean that it is. You know what I'm saying? Because these niggas think this man, if we follow what Luke say and what niggas saying, then they man should have came back already. Niggas should be standing right outside right now looking up to the sky like he coming. Hello. Verse 2. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. They that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Now, of course, it said the master unleashed the seals. When we look at what this means when he tell him to seal this book, and you can get Isaiah chapter 29 at this present time. That word in the Hebrew is katham, and it means to set up and affix or seal or fasten or to seal or to seal up. And we're going to deal with that in a moment. Now it's starting to strike my brain. Isaiah 29 and 10. After Isaiah 29 and 10, 1 Peter chapter 1. Because you got people really looking at this stuff and they really thinking, okay, this is how it's going to go down. This is what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And they got you looking for the wrong things. Isaiah 29 and 10. He say, for Yahuwah have poured out upon you the ruach of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and the seers have he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. When men deliver it to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. So the book's covered up. You can't see it. You can't learn it. Yeah, they're cranking up. Girl I know say she was out there with a dress on with no panties, and the wind blew her dress up and exposed her in the public parking lot. That's what you get for coming outside. Huh? Your homegirl? Yeah, I know her. She ain't in the word though.
Oh, I see. You company, you.
No, she put that out there in the public.
Oh.
Said she had a Marilyn Monroe moment, trying to grab her some little extra liquor from the Publix in Town Center for the hurricane, and had a little flimsy dress on, and it blew it up, and she sold all her business in the street. And what you get for coming outside like that. You know what I'm saying? Bet you won't come out like that no more. So that's just funny to me also too. You think you can slide outside with no drawers on and let it breathe?
Let it breathe, all right.
And he let it breathe, all right. Shame you in front of all your friends, but and strangers. So now the book is sealed. Nobody can read it. Nobody can open it. So we have to look at something. 1 Peter chapter 1. Children. Hello, Abigail. That was probably one of the shortest naps in history. 1 Peter chapter 1, right? Let's look at about verse 7, I suppose. He said, that the trial of your faith being more precious than of gold, that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found in the praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of YAHUSHA HaMashiach, whom having not seen you love, and whom though you see him not, yet believing you rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of esteem, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the favor that should come unto you, searching of what manner of time the Ruach of Mashiach which was in them did signify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Mashiach and the esteem that should follow. These men did not even know. Remember, the master resurrected from the dead, and then he opened these men understanding so they could understand the scriptures. These seals could not be affixed or broken until death was broken. Once death was broken, then the seals could be unleashed or unloosed, and then you could begin to actually understand the text and fully understand what is going on. Because pretty much everything that's in Revelation chapter 6 is in the law and the prophets somewhere. It's none of that stuff he just popped up out of nowhere. They're just rehashing what you've already been told, but now you can actually understand it. I know most of y'all, when you were younger, probably were told you don't want to read the book of Revelations. It's scary. You'll have nightmares and all that good old type of stuff. Some people don't like to read it. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 5. Oh, I really need it. My Lord back is really killing me. Hey, Tabby Abby. And it's gonna tie, and also too, now that I think about it too, cause this was in my mind, and I didn't do this last night when we completed. When we look at what we looked at last night, right? We looked at that familiar spirit out of the ground, and linking that to Samuel when she seen the gods ascending out of the earth, and when the apostles saw him and they thought they seen a familiar spirit, and all those things go to what we were talking about with love being long suffering, and love being a long suffering being a fruit of the ruach, which means that fruit cannot be manifested unless the seed fall on the ground and die. By process of that happening, that tied us back to when we looking at that Josiah, it means Yahuwah heals, which takes us back to the fountain of uncleanliness that was open in Zechariah that we looked at, which takes us back to Josiah purging or cleansing the people, would take us all the way back to them seeing him as a familiar spirit, because him resurrecting up out of the dead is what cleansed the people. And it's taking us back also to Ariel, because Ariel is the lioness of God, and then we about to read in Revelation how the master's called the lion of the tribe of Yehuda, and he was the one who prevailed to loose the seals, which takes us right back to what we were looking at about Ariel having speaking words as one that have a familiar spirit, because he's the only one that could prevail to do this. Nevertheless, Revelation chapter 5 and verse 1. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside and sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong Malachim proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. And no man in Shamahim nor in the earth nor under the earth was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehuda, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. So let's come over here to Romans chapter 7. Elizabeth Renee, sit down. Same thing goes for you, Conrad. Romans 7 and 23. Make it 22. Sit down, Conrad. Conrad McMasters. Renee, pull your shirt up. Pull your dress up. Your shoulder out. There you go. For I delight in the Torah of Elohim after the inward man. But I see another Torah of my members warring against the Torah of my mind, bringing me into captivity to the Torah of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Elohim through YAHUSHA HaMashiach, our master. So then with the mind I myself serve the Torah of Elohim, but with the flesh the Torah of sin. We know also in 1 Corinthians 15 it tells us how the master got us the victory. The reason why we stopped and took a pause into this Romans 7, because he said, who will deliver me from the body of this death? When we look at this man prevailing to loose the seals, it was only one person that could be able to prevail. And it still is taking us back to what we were looking at when we were looking at with Josiah, by him prevailing to cleanse the people of all their sins and iniquities, which we're going to go back and see that all the people began to walk upright during the time of Josiah. But let's come back to another point of the master in Revelation chapter 1. And that is 1 and about 17. I see you, Conrad. I see you. I'm watching you. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet dead, and he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that lived and was dead, and behold, I'm alive forevermore. Amen, and have the keys of hell and death. This is the key point, because nobody could prevail to loose these things of death but a Mashiach. Upon loosing this, now your understanding can be opened up. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 6 and proceed. Now we can drop down to verse 12. Just verse 12. That's all we're dealing with this one point, because this ties into to that loop. I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, lo, there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. The stars of Shamahim fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when it is shaken of a mighty wind. And the Shamahim departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. The malice of the earth and the great men and the rich men and the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sit on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, who shall be able to stand? So when this sixth seal is loosed, can we be able to take from this that this is when this man is going to return to thrash heads? So let's begin to look at some of these things and where this is. They're going to fall. Literally. Because remember, the key point, when we get to all that, remember he said he's going to roll it back like a scroll. So this is going to be the beginning process of making a new heavens and a new earth. A beginning process. Look at him. You got him fresh fade? You see him? I couldn't get no fresh fade.
Just made it.
Come over here to get you Isaiah chapter 13, Isaiah chapter 34, and Isaiah chapter 51. I promise that dudes weren't posting on this stuff, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But nigga walk around here with the sweaty nuts? Talking about he going to go get dressed, he would walk around here with the sweaty nuts.
Girl. Yeah, Callie was being dressed.
13 to 10. Phil said, boy, walk around here sweaty. A little tent on them things, boy, a little tent. 13 and let's look at verse 4.
Isaiah 13?
Make it verse 1. Verse 1. Now this is prophesying of the doom of Babylon specifically. But then you also see that this tie into Revelation, because you know that Babylon would be resurrected, so to speak, at the back end of Revelation. Let's look at the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I've commanded my sanctified ones. I've also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms, of nations gathered together. Yahuwah of hosts muster the host of the battle. We'll pause. I guess we're going to have to do this like this here. I guess I'm going to have to deal with this more than I would want to. Hold this and come back to Revelation chapter 6. Because he said he going to cause a battle. Hello, Abigail. Hello, Abigail. Your afro bigger than your body. I can't pick you up right now, Abigail. You got 3D touch on your phone, though?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't never used it.
You know?
Yeah, he got a 6, huh?
You got 6S.
Okay, 6S ain't nothing. And he put a 6S or a plus.
This is 6.
Yeah, he got
Right,
6.
It's a 6, a 6S, and a 6S.
You still supposed to have 3D touch. Might need to cut it on.
Maybe you update your phone and shit.
Yeah, you supposed to have 3D touch.
Wi-Fi. Shit come up.
Hey, you know that's his. Hey, put it down. Nobody has it. Nobody has it. Bring it to me.
That's what I thought, really.
No, that's yours. That's for girls. You take that with you. Take that with you. Go ahead, Renee. Take that with you. That's for girls. Revelation chapter 6. I make sure I'm in the right place.
Thanks for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Revelation chapter 15. 16, actually. My apologies. Not Revelation 6. Revelation 16. 16 and about 15, I suppose. 16 and 14. 16 and 14. And it says, for they are the ruachs of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Elohim Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Baruch is he that watch and keep his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. And the seventh Malachim poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of Shamahim from the throne, saying, "It is done." And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before Elohim to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found, and there fell upon men a great hail out of Shamahim, every stone about the weight of a talent. Men blasphemed Elohim because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. So, this is leading up to this man coming back smashing Babylon, if you go in the chronological order of these chapters. You know what I'm talking about? But do you notice that there's a great earthquake? The same earthquake that Damascus. See, they trying to take that earthquake that happened in Mexico and say that's the great earthquake. The problem with being is that that's Mexico. There ain't nothing going on in Mexico. You know something going on in Mexico?
Trump building walls.
I don't know nothing going on in Mexico. Because, one, all these people got to be gathering up to fight at this particular time. Because remember, say the nation's going to be confused. You don't think the people be confused when the whole world gathering up in one spot looking to fight the Most High? That'd be kind of confused. Is that going on right now? Because I'm not sure. The last time I checked, it's just niggas doing what they do. Niggas buying crabs. It's niggas boiling crab waiting for. You know the dumbest thing I be seeing? Niggas write on on the walls, "Go away, Irma," like this storm can read. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the storm.
You seen them people out there at the beach?
Oh yeah, praying. Hey, I ain't mad at him for that. I can't even be mad at him for that. It's funny because you're not praying to the God who created all of these things. But I can't be, if all us stood out there and you serving Yah and you were praying for him to turn his wrath away, I couldn't be mad at you for that. Our people done did that before. You know what I'm saying? I can't even be mad at you for that. Because you beseeching them and asking them to be merciful. You know what I'm saying? We laughing at them because you don't serve Yah. So you really out there for nothing.
That's why I'm laughing, because you doing that because you contrary all the time.
All the time.
Now you want to go out here because you feel like your house and your family
and your valuables about to blow down. Now you like this here, hallelujah.
Yeah, you should have seen that.
I seen the video.
Yeah, stay in the house. Stay in the house. Don't be out here talking about no hallelujah. Well, not because a hurricane coming. But in reality, ain't nothing wrong. Because guess what? That what Nineveh did. That man told him he was going to kill everybody. Them people went out there fasting and praying. Please have mercy. I mean, matter of fact, since I said that, hold what you got and go to Joel chapter 2. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I was going to hit it last night, but I chose not to. 2 and 11, I chose not to. We ain't laughing at them because they praying. You already know a commercial. I'm not paying them people to air nothing. Ustream say you want to watch. You say you can use our service. But guess what, though? We need to make some money. That's a free service. How they going to eat? And why they don't like that Ustream? Because they weren't commercial. When people say, but how we going to eat, though? Like this here. Nigga don't say that when they watching YouTube. That commercial. Watch a YouTube video long enough, boy, a commercial will pop up right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. The video will return after this ad.
Only thing they don't show is Netflix, and you have to pay for Netflix. It's not like an option to watch. No, you pay. You pay
for that. That's why. Guess what? If you get a certain, you get YouTube Red, you ain't got to worry about no commercials. No, it pop up on mine all the time. Go on with a 30-day trial. You get a certain SoundCloud Go, you won't get no commercials. Only reason you don't get commercials on SoundCloud is if you listening to dudes who making their own music. If you got stuff where the artist putting it's artist music, oh yeah, it's gonna be a commercial. Joel 2 and 11. Matter of fact, she ain't let her live. It ain't gonna stop. They stop on them. Make it 10, I suppose. The earth shall quake before them, Shamahim shall tremble, the sun and moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahuwah shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that execute his word. The day of Yahuwah is great and terrible, and who can abide it? That's just what we seen them saying in Revelation too. They say, who's going to be able to abide it? Therefore also now saith Yahuwah, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto Yahuwah your Elohim, for he is favorable and merciful and slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repent him of evil. No, he say he's slow to, even with all this wrath he's saying he finna bring. He said, if you turn yourself to me, I'll repent of what I was finna do to you. I'll turn for what I'm finna do to you. And that's what they, in theory, that's what they were going out there for. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, y'all niggas praying to nothing. You know what I'm saying? And not praying to nothing is for, but you ain't praying to nothing. Because in their heart and mind, they believe they praying to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? And they heart and mind, they believe that's what they doing. Unfortunately for them, their prayers are getting swatted away. Falling on deaf ears. And knowing that, you know, it's funny to me, I see people say, everything I prayed for, I got it. I tell you, that's how the badness of people's mind be. Because if you feel like, if you get, cause I seen the chick say, if you don't get what you want, then maybe you not righteous, because the prayers of the righteous availeth much. At the same token, your prayers have to be according to his will. Just because you righteous and you pray for something don't mean he gonna give it to you if it's not according to what he want to accomplish. You could pray for a particular job and be righteous, and he don't give you that job because that job may take you outside of his will or what he want. Not even no sinning, just on what he wants you to do. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga just feel like this man ain't no genie. You just rub and he say, "Ah, here you go, son. Here you go. Here you go." That's how they look at it. It tell you that in John. It's got to be a court. The master made a prayer, didn't it? And let this cup pass. Did he not? But the key point is we already knew all his prayers were being heard, but that particular request was not according to his will. Therefore, he was not going to hearken to it. That's why he said, "Not my will, but thy will be done," because that's my desire. And he already told you in John, he say, "Father, I know you hear me always." So we know my sharp prayers were being heard, but that particular request was not according to his will. Therefore, he is not going. If he would have did that, then us being saved would have been wiped out. It'd have been wiped out. So you have to look at that. Just because you get something don't mean you getting it because you righteous, and just because you don't get something don't mean you're not getting it because you're unrighteous. It may not be according to his will. But if you know you're doing stuff you ain't got no business in, your faith ain't on point, you better believe you ain't being hurt. You know what I'm saying? You can put that in your pipe and smoke it. You know what I'm talking about? You're not being hurt. Nevertheless, back to Isaiah chapter 13. Notice how he said that the stars were going to fall and all this good old stuff, telling you the same thing that's in Revelation. For time's sake, because we're already at 26 minutes. When you look in Isaiah chapter 2, it tell you how the kings of the earth, when this man come back, go to hide in the mountains. It tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It tell you these niggas gonna go hide. Go read it for yourself in Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Tell you they go hide in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? Scared of his wrath. So when we look at that 6th seal being unloosed, you looking at this man about to prepare to make his return. Let's go back to that 13th chapter. We in verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of Shamahim, even Yahuwah, and the weapons of his indignation destroy the whole land. You can go read the Epistle of Jude. You know it said Enoch prophesied that he coming back with 10,000 of his Kadeshim, 10,000 of his Kadeshim, to repay back all the scoffers, the mockers, and the ungodly speeches and the ungodly acts that they done committed, and all that good old stuff. He says, "Howl ye, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Therefore all hands shall be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. They shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travail, and they shall be amazed at one another, and their faces shall be as flames." That's what that's taking you back to what he was talking about, that perplexity. "Behold, the day of Yahuwah come, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." That's why I don't know why these boys sitting back talking about they want that to happen, because a lot of them sinners themselves. A lot of them are sinners themselves. Come over here to Psalms 104 real fast. Psalms 104. 31, I suppose. Psalm 104 and 31. Listen what the man tell you. "The esteem of Yahuwah shall endure forever, and Yahuwah shall rejoice in his works. He look on the earth, and it tremble. He touched the hills, and they smoke. I will sing unto Yahuwah as long as I live. I will sing praise to my Elohim while I have my being. My meditation of him shall be sweet. I will be glad in Yahuwah. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. Bless thou Yahuwah, O my soul." Hallelujah. You know, it's funny because they think when all this stuff happened, they just think the nation's going to get killed on. But you know, Peter told us that judgment started at the house of Elohim. We should know this from Ezekiel chapter 9, because who he started with. He said, "Start at my sanctuary and slay the old, slay the young, men, women, infants, and don't have no pity." I wonder how many people would feel like they would begin to blaspheme the name of Yahuwah if they seen him sending Malachines through to kill babies, and it was your baby or your homegirl baby. Would you still love Yah after that, or would you say his judgment was just? Because these niggas out here wicked. I'm here to tell you, we gonna kill a lot of children. You know what I'm talking about? And guess what? They ought to die if he saw fit for them to die. That's how I see it. I don't care who don't like it. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? You ain't hear David say, "Yah, you ain't right. You killed my son." He ain't say none of that, did he? He said, "Who will know if he'll repent, if he'll turn from what he said he was gonna do?" They said, "What you did all that fasting for?" Maybe he'll change his mind. That was his mind frame was. And once the baby was dead, you know what he decided to do? Well, time to get up and walk myself and get something to eat. That's what he did now. He ain't blame y'all for it. You know what I'm talking about? That man say, "I'm going to fast and I'm going to pray." And when he murked that baby, he got himself up, walked and said, "You were doing all this here." He said, "Hey, man, baby dead." He said, "I can go to him, but he can't come back to me. So pass that bread. Pass that bread." But you know why he felt that way? Because he knew he was in the wrong. That baby was born of adultery. He didn't blame y'all for executing a just judgment upon that child that his actions necessitated needed to fall upon that child. You can't blame y'all for that. You got to put David on that. David, you the reason that baby dead. And you know why the reason that baby dead? Because you never had no business putting your penis in Bathsheba in the first place to produce this baby. You supposed to look at Bathsheba and say, "Woman, you need to cover yourself," and went home to your wife. That's what he supposed to did.
Your wives.
I'm talking about regardless, why not? Go on to your wife.
You had options.
You know what I'm talking about? Instead, you say, "Look at that butt."
I'm saying you had options.
Look at that butt. I'm sliding down here in the lake and I'm going to get me some of that butt. Now I like that butt. You know what I'm going to do with this butt? I'm going to put her husband on the front line. And this show nigga on top of that. This ain't no random cat. This show nigga. And you don't like this here. Put him on the front line.
I'll keep it warm.
I'll keep it warm for you. That nigga ain't coming back.
Dirty. That was though. That was hard, yo.
They said that nigga ain't coming back. How you know? That nigga ain't coming back. It's all mine now.
Being different from the position he was in.
Well, I wouldn't even care what the position of it and make it worse is magnified, but that bad either way. Because you schemed on your homeboy old lady and then set him up to get murked so you keep it for yourself and think nobody would know.
She dirty. She more dirty though.
Oh yeah, because her loyalty supposed to have been her husband. Access denied.
Straight up.
You live in the land of Yasharal. You know you ain't supposed to bust them wide open.
You knew he off your old man and you still
She may have not known that.
Still.
Now that part of the game, she may have not known that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I doubt he told anybody about that. He done kept that to himself. Dead wrong. That baby supposed to die. So when you look at all the wickedness that your friends and family and y'all forbid, maybe even yourself may be doing at this very moment, you putting them children at risk. Don't blame him for it. Don't blame him for it. Yeah, don't be sitting back and saying your people died. If somebody, you know, their baby died, that's so sad. God, why he had to kill him? You know why he had to kill him. You know what their mom and daddy doing. You know what I'm talking about? Now guess what, right? The daddy could just be so wicked, he just say, "Screw it, I'm gonna kill that nigga." You know what I'm talking about? The mama ain't even really did none of it. The only thing that spare that baby if the daddy wicked is if the mama's not. And vice versa. You know what I'm talking about? If it were born out of iniquity, and one of them saying, "Hey man, I gotta get my soul together. I ain't got no time to play with this here." That's the only thing that might spare that child. You know what I'm saying? Because possibly you did it out of ignorance. But boy, some of your people, they out here wilding, man. You don't even know. There's probably niggas around here be blaspheming y'all like you don't know what. They slap hands with you, give you a good old hug and a kiss. You know what I'm talking about? Go back home, talk cash about this man. Cause see, I was talking about this the other day, man. I'm talking about that junk is increasing. I seen niggas who didn't believe in the book. It was on that African stuff when we was jits. That junk is compounded. Like this nigga just come out and ain't got no. I'm talking about black people just come out and got no problem. That girl said, "F that book." I don't see how you niggas still follow after that. F that book. I'm like, good grief. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if you say I don't believe in it, like the anger. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The contempt for it. What do you mean hate? And there's a lot of people who smile in your face and hug you and who you love every day. And when the doors is closed and ain't no human ear listening, they cussing this man out. You know what I'm talking about? Let one of these niggas' houses get blown down somewhere. Well, I told you what a nigga did when I was locked up one time. That nigga caught them teeth. That nigga was going to church in the prayer circle every night. Went to court. Nigga was facing 30, so he should have thanked God for it. To be honest with you, them crackers gave him 10. That nigga came back from the courthouse. Said, "I don't even know if God real. I don't even know if this book real." Now you don't know it's real because them crackers gave you 10, huh? So you thought you were finna slide off, huh?
What?
Yeah.
It'd be the opposite.
You should have took that.
He took them 10. But he's saying he don't know if the book real because they offered him 10. But you were looking at 30 or 40. You know what I'm talking about, nigga? You're an habitual felony offender. You've been caught selling crack. Not just you've been caught. Sales charges 5 times. Clearly you don't know what you're doing. Clearly you like to serve people you don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Clearly you ain't got no problem, nigga, walking up. I got 50. You know that nigga? Shoot, that nigga got $50. And you served him. This your 5th sales charge. And they talking about 10. Nigga, that's 2 years of charge. Nigga, you better clap your hands and go ahead on. That nigga said, I don't know if this book real, man. God might not be real, man.
You think he's gonna get off?
Clearly, I guess he felt like because he was in there. Trouble don't last always, singing every night. Holding hand, talking about prayer call and going to court with Bible verses in your shoe and reading the Bible every night. I guess he just felt like he was going to absolve him. What? Okay. I don't know if all them niggas, I know them niggas was walking around with Bible verses in their shoe. Never. For what? For what? Nigga, I wasn't dealing with it on the street. What am I coming here and do it for? I've been selling dope, smoking weed. Nigga ain't thought about no Bible, ain't thought about no church. Now I get to jail. Lord, please, I want to pray to you. Please have mercy on my soul. See, let me tell you about Job too, brother. See, you got to understand the mercy of God, man. I wasn't on none of that, man. He cracking better not be with it rather when I get in here today. Straight up and down. That's where my head was at. You know what I'm saying, nigga? We read the scripts on the street because we were reading anything, though. So it's not unnatural for a nigga to pop them open when I pop their book. Nigga, I don't even know what it's talking about. But I definitely wouldn't finna come on down on some old born again Christian junk. Shoot, nigga say, boy, what you gonna do when you get out? One time I say, shoot, nigga, I'm finna go get me a bag, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You nigga around here on some old, oh man, go ahead on with that though, man. Niggas is not on that. You niggas was not on that before you got in here. You niggas did not have. Nigga, you ain't even been in here long enough to have that type of transformation. Nigga, you flogging.
See, you can't speak on that.
Nigga get in there 2 weeks later, this nigga a Christian. Nigga, come on, my nigga.
That might have been all he needed.
You can believe that if you want to. Nigga around here thinking they can pray their way up out of a situation.
They trying to use it.
That's why this here they figure if I come in here and pray and read a couple verses, God gonna have mercy. The first thing they swear, God got it. He in control. Why wasn't he in control of your stinking behind when you was out there robbing niggas? Boy, I seen a nigga, he was facing 30 years. It was messed up now. They hit a nigga with a home invasion. The nigga went in the nigga garage and stole a lawnmower. You know what I'm talking about? But they hit the nigga with home invasion though. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga record was bad. Cause like this here, God is in control. I have no fear. Shoot, nigga, you better have some. Crack up finna give your stupid behind 20 years, nigga. Right with your and the nigga was knocking niggas out, but he was a baser. But if you seen the nigga, you wouldn't even think he smoked rocks. Nigga from around the way, like, oh yeah, that nigga smoked bass. I say, shoot, boy, I know he would take a nigga bomb on the block. This nigga hit knocking niggas out. You know what I'm talking about? Short, stocky, knocking niggas out. They make me think about this one time they were finna steal this cracker commissary. That junk was funny. That cracker would not let that bag go. He said, no, babe, no. Bop, bop. That nigga was one of them niggas hitting on him. I'm just sitting there looking at him like, sad shame. I'm finna go in my room. You know what I'm talking about? This ain't got nothing to do with me. Straight up. Nevertheless, look at verse 10 though. Oh man, this real crazy. For the stars and Shamahim and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Why will these constellations not give their light? I guess we got to do it. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth. The moon shall not cause her light to shine. I will punish the world for their evil, and I will end the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake Shamahim in the wrath, and shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of Yahuwah of hosts in the day of his fierce anger. Now I ain't saying, look, I just told him I wasn't going to hit these seals, but I had no choice. Cause you say you seen that Luke meme. You seen that Luke meme?
Oh, 21.
Luke 21.
Yeah.
I know some of y'all done seen that Luke, and I had to do it. Cause you got to have an understanding of what's going on because of what is going on. You know what I'm saying? You need to have a firm, good grasp and understanding of what this is talking about. Because niggas say all type of things, they don't know what they're talking about. So clearly when this man loosed this seal, this is allowing the wrath of Elohim to be able to begin. Now it's kind of out of order a little bit, because then you got the vials, because the vials and the seals are two different things. The seal is being opened up for you to understand the script. The vials is being opened up because this is the wrath of Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? So when you see this here, man, this man say he gonna punish the world, but then he say he gonna cause it's not gonna be able to give its light no more. And there's a reason for that. Let's swing to Matthew chapter 24, probably about verse 21, and then Zechariah chapter 14. Nigga coming around here with pretzels.
Pecan.
That nigga look like old pecan eating nigga.
Like, you ain't looking the restaurant. You gotta get him to crack him open. Yes, sir.
Waste of time.
Make that 27. I was gonna reach for that, but I'm not going to anymore. My back hurts sometimes. Matthew 24 and 27. For as light they come out of the east and shine even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For whatsoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. So immediately, was there any tribulation going on when that eclipse came? There wasn't no tribulation. We just seen in Daniel 12 and said the same thing, right? So if it wasn't no tribulation, it wasn't nothing popping. I don't know what it is these niggas talking about something gonna pop off on September 23rd. I guess they believe the Lord coming back on September. And you know what's crazy? Them niggas said that last year with CERN. When is these niggas gonna learn? He said, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from Shamahin, and the powers of Shamahin shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in Shamahin, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of Shamahin with great power and esteem. Before we read Zechariah, let's look at Haggai. Abigail. You can't eat that, Abigail. Come here, Abigail. Come here, Haggai chapter 2. Come here, Abigail. Abby. Come here. She don't want it. She want what you got. Don't give her something. She'll figure out she can't get it.
7, right?
Haggai chapter 2.
No, that's the
Haggai 2 and 4. Just give her one. She'll figure out she can't do it. She got 2 teeth. I'm not about that every time I knock on you. Haggai 2 and 4. Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith Yahuwah, be strong, O Yahusha, son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, saith Yahuwah, and work, for I am with you, saith Yahuwah of hosts. I want all of y'all on this phone. I want all y'all in here, all understand that. Regardless of what's going on, you're supposed to be strong. Let's look and see why. 1 Corinthians 15. And you know what it's going to tie back into? When we swing back to Josiah. Praise the Lamb. It's still going to swing back to what we want to talk about. Renee. All right. Renee. Hi. Conrad. Hi. 1 Corinthians 15. Leah. Hi. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 55. Because no matter what goes on around you, you got to remain strong. Can't get weak. After this 1 Corinthians 15, I guess 2 Timothy chapter 1 would be sufficient. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the Torah. But thanks be to Elohim, which give us victory, which give us the victory through our Master Yahusha HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yahuwah, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in Yahuwah. You cannot sit back and think that your work is worthless. This is what he's telling Yahusha, son of Jehozadak. Stay strong and keep moving. See, a lot of people go to falling off. They don't be staying strong because they don't believe they're going to get a reward, which means you don't believe in the first place. And I forgot what that conversation was I was having with somebody about something along them lines. But basically, That's when we were talking with the brother. The brother was like, what do you say to some people who say they need to see Moses' body or Elijah's body? And I'm like, if they need to see a man's body, they already don't believe. Because seeing that body ain't gonna make you believe no more. You know what I'm saying? What is it? If you saw the dead body of YAHUSHA, son of YAHUSHA, what is that gonna do for you? Because you know what you're gonna keep doing? You're gonna keep moving the goalposts back because you're gonna look for another thing you need to see to believe. But when I see this here, then I'll believe some more. Which means you already didn't believe because your mind is already trained on, I need to see this. Because I was telling him, I already had this conversation with a nigga a year before. If people knew where the dead bodies was at, then it'll strengthen people's faith. I say, if that's what you need, it ain't gonna do it. If that's what you need, it ain't gonna do it. So when your faith is already weak and stuff go to popping off in the world, that's why these niggas acting crazy right now. All these niggas talking about, oh, he coming back. America's getting her judgment. What judgment America getting? America been catching hurricanes, nigga. America done had a good, decent hurricane hit land every year for the last 20 years. It might have been 1 or 2 years in the last 20 years a hurricane ain't hit land and do no damage. Because Matthew touched land last year, and it was probably a storm or two, because if you get to the M's, you deep off in the hurricanes at that point. You know what I'm talking about? And it was probably a good old storm hit ground at that point. Katrina hit ground. Ivan hit ground. You know what I'm saying? You go on and on. It wasn't y'all judgment then. Or was y'all judgment because he flooded out Houston? So guess what nigga turn around? It's his judgment period when anything happened. But it's not the judgment though. A nigga David's baby got killed. That wasn't the judgment. That was the judgment for that act. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand the difference. You got the judgment and then you have judgment. You know what I'm saying? Guess what, right? You could tell your child, if you do this and you do this, I'm gonna take this from you. But the judgment is the final call. Whelps across your behind. And until this man come back here and go to killing everybody, that ain't what it do. What is it? 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. Abigail, did you eat it? They're all gone now, Tabby Abby. What is it? 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For Elohim have not given us the ruach of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. See, that's what that's what these people come back to Haggai chapter 2. See, that's what these people got going on. Like, it's always good to be aware and prepared, but there's people out here who are fearful right now. Fear is a very strong emotion, and that's what most people like to use to control people and keep them in a state of fear. See, it's different from having reverence and respect and having someone fearful of you. Like, have you ever heard some people say, which would you rather have? Love, respect, or fear? And some niggas say, I'd rather have fear because it lasts longer. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard that before? Niggas say they'd rather have fear because it lasts longer. And that's what the public try to. They're not the same token. Now, I just seen a meteorologist. They say he was in Alabama. He was very calm and he was very informative, detailed in explaining stuff. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey, boom, 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 boom. But a lot of them crackers get on the news, regardless of who they is, and they plant fear in people, whether they doing it intentionally or unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with, the cracker Shepard Smith from Fox News last year. If it turns to the left, you're going to die. There's no way you're going to survive. You're going to die. You can't make it out. You know what I'm saying? It may sound funny to some, but in reality, though, that puts fear in people. Because this is a newscaster, some people trust, and he telling you you're going to die. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I don't be messing with her. But that's why my homegirl in New York will text me or call me with what you gonna do. Because all she's seeing is what's on the news versus us who actually here. You know what I'm talking about? And if she from the outside looking in, she called me with that last year. She was like, what's gonna happen? They say, oh, y'all gonna die. And I'm like, it ain't that bad. But how does she know? You know what I'm saying? Because what they put on the news will put fear in your heart. You know what I'm talking about? Say, look at the mirror. If you can just get out. Just don't even stay. Now, number one, crack, this ain't even gonna be a direct hit from the store. Like, if that jump would come in, if we was in a position where Miami was at, then I could see you getting on there and telling people that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all you niggas need to go. Everybody just need to go. You know what I'm saying? Cracker, this junk coming through land. It's gonna be very weakened by the time it gets here. And Cracker, you know this. You know what I'm talking about? But you making a nigga think that junk gonna be 175 mile per hour sustained winds when they get to Jacksonville, Florida, and niggas stupid enough to go for it. You know what I'm saying? We're not even, that's what I was telling you before, we're not even using common sense. They telling you it's going to be a Category 5 when it hit Miami. Travel to Jacksonville via Category 3, but as soon as it crossed the Georgia line, it's a Category 1. Come on, Cracker. I look that stupid to you, man. Nigga, it take 5 hours to drive in a car to Miami. You know what I'm saying? Or from Miami to Jacksonville. And you mean to tell me, nigga, you can't keep all your fuel in your gas tank that whole drive? You might have to stop and get some gas. So you mean to tell, you know what I'm talking about? So you mean to tell me that this hurricane, which is gas, is warm water, is going to be able to take a trip from the southern end of Florida to the northern end of Florida and not run out of gas? And he ain't getting no fuel nowhere because ain't nothing but land here. So how he gonna be able to keep going 175 miles per hour at that point? That nigga gonna be going 40 or 50 by the time he get here.
They say 75 at the most.
But see, that's the gust. But see, they always throw that out there. You only hit the gust if the eye wall slide through. If the eye wall don't slide through, you don't even get the maximum amount of what the storm. See, they don't even tell people that much. That the maximum winds is in the eye wall. So if the eye wall don't slide by, you never even gonna see that. It's just gonna be a good gust. And I said before, we done had thunderstorms that quite possibly is gonna be more powerful than this. You know what I'm saying? By the time they get here, because like I said, it would be different if it was in a situation like it is down south, and that nigga coming straight off the water here. None of us would be here right now. You know what I'm talking about?
A year ago?
If you talking about a 175 mile per hour storm coming right off the coast, straight to the city, direct hit, ain't nothing, nigga got to go. If you can get up out of here, you got to go. Because that's a little different.
I didn't think you got down like that.
Shoot, it ain't about no backing down, even if it's 140, but you telling me, oh, that nigga 50, 60, 70, 80 miles off the coast. Go somewhere for what? This nigga's not even landed. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, this nigga's coming up the whole state? Oh, that nigga ain't gonna be that strong when he get here. He gonna be feeling how you feel at the end of a workout when you've been pushing it real hard. I'm tired. I can't bench press this 215 right now. I gotta drop down to 160. I can't move this weight right now. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? But if we was in Miami though, oh yeah, you got to go. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? We can't stay around here for this here, especially where we stay at that close to the beach. Even though from what they say we not even in, this ain't in no evacuation zone. Cause we ain't by no water. Y'all might be close to one cause y'all by water. Y'all ain't in no evacuation zone where y'all see ain't by no water. You know what I'm saying? That's really what they worry about. If you stay by that river, whether it's the St. John's or the Trout or the Intercoastal or the beach. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you pretty much straight. It's will the wind snatch your roof off. Yeah, shoot. And if you live in a mobile home and you stayed, you're an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? Cause shoot, good storm, shoot. Right thunderstorm might pick your mobile home up and throw it around somewhere. I could never live in no trailer, boy. Just cause of that. We in verse 5 though. We got about an hour. And according to the word that I covenanted with you when you came up out of Mizraim, so my Ruach remain among you, fear ye not. For thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, yet once it is a little while, and I will shake Shamahim and the dry earth and the sea and the dry land. And I will shake all nations, and the desire of nations shall come, and I will fill this house with esteem, saith Yahuwah of hosts. So again, notice, it's the end when he gonna shake it. And we noticed that he shook it around Babylon. But let's look at Zechariah 14 and let's see what he say there. All you got to do is piece this stuff together and you get a good idea of when, what, and how something is going to occur. 14 and 4. If you don't piece it together, then you're going to be like a nigga posting that meme. Luke 21, it's going to go down. Or posting at Isaiah 29, look, fires in the west coast, hurricanes in the south. America is not the focal point of this book. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Just get that, seep that through your brain and let that marinate. This country is not the focal point of this book. It's really not. We only look at it from that perspective and vantage point because we live here. And we exclude everything, every other land region in the world is excluded because you're looking at America first. Ain't the proper way to do it. 14 and 4. And his feet shall stand In that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east, towards the west, and there shall be a great valley, and half the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, Malach of Yehuda. And Yahuwah Elohim shall come with all the Kadeshim with thee. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be in one day which shall be known to Yahuwah, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass in that evening time it shall be light. Now notice it said to each one, everywhere we looked at, it said it would go dark. We done dealt with this before in a different capacity. If he said at evening time it shall be light, and the master saying that the sun gonna go dark, the moon gonna turn to blood, the stars are gonna withdraw its shine, the same thing Isaiah 13 say, then what are they actually recreating? Anybody got any idea what they would be recreating?
Egypt.
No, they wouldn't be recreating Egypt.
So that already happened in the book.
Yeah, they're recreating something. This is his return, right? So let's look at something else. What I was just had in my head, it just left too. What?
Didn't he make it go dark in Egypt?
Yeah, he did, but only for 3 days. But there was light in Yasharal's dwellings. But this man say the sun ain't gonna get no moon, no light. Moon gonna turn to blood. The stars gonna go away.
I was thinking about his creation.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he did.
That's
That's
what I was thinking about, though.
That all he doing is recreating the beginning. Cause what was it? It was dark, and what did he say? Let there be what? Mashiach say he did what? So guess what he got to do? So when we look at Isaiah 46, what did he tell us? That's what I had in my mind. He told the what from the what? So he tell the end from the beginning. So the beginning of the book, he telling you what it's going to do at the end. You know what I'm saying? So then at the end of the book, he just telling you what's happening at the beginning. So when and guess what we see when he returns and he said, let there be light at the end, what is he going to begin to do? He going to begin to recreate all over again. Because what he say he going to make?
So be a new heaven.
And guess what he say he going to do with man? They're going to be changed. So that means he's creating all over again. So that's why it has to go down in that fashion to recreate the beginning at the end. Because when have we not looked at the beginning and seen the end of how he created us to be the sons of Elohim in the beginning? So it only makes sense that in the end he turn around and do the same thing. But let's look at Isaiah 46. See, that's what they missing. All them niggas looking forward to destruction. Don't the book of Amos tell you not to desire the day of Yahuwah? He say, what good is that day for you? Don't serve you no purpose. 46 and 10. Make it verse 9 though. Matter of fact, make it 8. He says, remember this and show yourselves men, bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Elohim, there is none else. I am Elohim, there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient time the things that are not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, that the man that execute my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. Hearken unto me, ye stout-hearted that are far from righteousness, and I bring near my righteousness, it shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. I will place my salvation in Zion for Yasharal my esteem. So he said he's going to tell you the end from the beginning. So let's go on and look at the beginning since we done dealt with it. We may not even get it those side of the day. They deal with it, so I don't want you walking around here when these niggas. I ain't saying none of y'all went for it, but guess what? If you don't really know too well and you see that, it might be plausible. Wouldn't you say? Could be. Eclipse did happen on the 21st. It did. The seas is roaring. Like if you don't really know the word that well and you see that, it's plausible to you. It's not far fetched. You know what I'm talking about? You looking at it? That's what Jesus said. Oh, he coming back, and guess what happened? August 2019 coming. He ain't came back yet. So then you know what you do? I knew that book wasn't real. It's just some fairy tales. It's allegory. That's a nigga favorite line. It's allegory. Abigail. Ain't nobody got no food back here for you.
What allegory mean?
A story with a hidden meaning.
Mm-hmm. What it's saying that it's not really what it says.
It's not literal. It's just a principle behind it.
So So you don't gotta worry about him living and coming back.
It's just allegory.
It's deep, brother.
Trying to get you on some Christ consciousness.
Yeah,
to give you a deeper.
Deeper. That's how they swim.
Yeah. And then you feel like it's so deep.
Because I mean that's written in Greek, so they gonna use that terminology for allegory. But for us, that's not. Wouldn't say allegory. It said it would be a parable.
I'm trying to give a good example.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff. Pretty much every Greek writing is considered to be an allegory. The story of Achilles is considered to be an allegory. The story of Athena is considered to be an allegory.
Most niggas don't know about that.
But no, what I'm saying is nothing we can use biblical as being allegorical because all that stuff went down.
No, he had a good example.
No, they used the word allegory in Galatians.
No, he was talking about with Hagar.
But with Hagar that happened.
Yeah, but in Galatians 3 it'll say
in Galatians 3 it says this is an allegory.
Yeah, and then they use the example with Hagar.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying in our language it wouldn't have said allegory. It would have said it was a parable.
Yeah, because it really happened.
Because that really happened. Because the allegory, that means this didn't happen.
Real.
But yeah, the word allegory is mentioned in Galatians 3, but that's the Greek word they use, and it should have been.
Now I ain't saying that it would have been no parable. I said if it would have been written from our perspective, then it wouldn't have said allegory.
Yeah, it would have said like that.
It would have let you know this was a parable or a sign.
Oh no, what he told David, what the prophet told David.
But even with that was a parable.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
When Nathan stepped to David and told him what he did, it was a parable to show him, nigga, no, you did that, nigga.
But I was saying it could be allegorical because it didn't really happen.
But yet it did happen.
Right, but not what he said. No sheet was left out.
Yeah, he did. You know what he did? He did David nasty with it too, and we know y'all gave him that. Get to that. I'm gonna frame this story real nice, like clean it. It'll move you. So when that man ought to die, that man is you.
It is low key kind of allegory.
Yeah, but see, he wasn't trying to teach David nothing out the allegory. He was trying to show him. He was checking him without coming directly to check him and saying, nigga, you know what you did, nigga. He wanted David to pronounce judgment on himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was really what the purpose of the war. So once he had said that, then you know that you ought to die, and then he has no choice but to ask you for mercy. He can't walk around with no pride. Like an allegory is spitting something, and they trying to teach you something from the story.
Yeah.
Like let's take an instance like the story of Narcissus. But I'm gonna tell him. The nigga thought he was pretty, looked good, looked at himself in the river, fell in love with his reflection, jumped in the water to make love to himself, and died. You know what I'm saying? And the purpose of that story is to tell you that, self-love in the wrong avenues can destroy you.
But that's fake.
It's fake because narcissists didn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? Or Achilles, which the back of your foot is called your Achilles heel.
You see
what?
They got on their jerseys now.
What, Achilles?
But not Achilles. They got the Hermes.
What, the wing?
On the calf jerseys.
Oh no, that's a company. The NBA selling ad space on their jerseys.
That's good.
Yeah. They selling ad space.
I'm saying that's what that is. But that's what the
Goodyear. Yeah, the Goodyear logo. Yeah, that's Achilles.
All right, I thought it's Hermes or Achilles.
No, Achilles was running, and he injured himself, and some woman took him down and killed him. He had no weakness on his body.
No, that's not the same story, bitch.
Achilles was the one that he had no weakness on his whole body, but in his heel.
He was a warrior.
Yeah, that's what
the only way you can kill him in battle was if you puncture
his heel.
Achilles tendon on his heel.
On his heel. That's what it was. I was thinking about another nigga. Think about Nike actually.
Huh? They named the body part?
Yeah, your Achilles heel.
They named the body part
after him.
Character.
After a fictional character. Yeah. So when Kobe they say Kobe blew out his Achilles heel. Achilles is a Greek character who was a mighty warrior, and the Achilles was his only weakness. So a nigga shot him in an arrow in his Achilles and he died. I don't know what story they were trying to teach you out of that.
See that? That's just mythology, bro.
It's Greek mythology. And get what? It's the same token with Egypt. That's all it is all, and that's what they basically want. So when somebody say the Bible is an allegory, they're trying to say it's mythology.
Yeah, really.
You didn't find that right there, sir? Sir. You didn't find that bat in the middle of the forest? This nigga here. Nevertheless, Genesis 1 and 2. Hey, King, pick that bat up off the floor, B. You didn't find it right there. They got you dressed like it's in the 80s.
He's smooth, though. I can't even.
They got him with a whole denim outfit on.
The bottom with this.
Now, how they did it in the 80s, early 90s, whole denim fits. You know how I know? I had one. Go get your bat. Get that bat. Listen, get that bat out the floor for me, please. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw that the light that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And that's what he's going to be doing. Let's see how he's going to divide the light from the darkness. Matthew chapter 25. 25 and 34. Because we got to deal with how he going to recreate. So he going to recreate. So we're going to deal with how he going to recreate. Matthew 25 and 31, I should say. When the Son of Man shall come in his esteem, and all the Kadesh Malachim with him, and then shall he sit upon the throne of his esteem, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divide his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on the right hand, Come ye Baruch to my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. We know what he told the one on the right hand, go ahead and hit the fire prepared for the devil and his homeboys. Because that's what it said in Genesis, right? He going to divide the light from the darkness, called the light day, the darkness night. What is Mashiach going to do upon his return? Separate. It's going to be dark, he going to be the light, and he going to do what? Separate the light from the darkness. Because all those that commit iniquity in the kingdom shall be what? Removed and cast into a furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. He ain't doing nothing but what he did in the beginning. That's all he's finna be doing. So now we have to focus on the fact of he got to recreate. So let's look at how he would recreate. Isaiah chapter 65. And then 2 Peter chapter 3.
And we can look at that as the dark being consumed by the light, by them being thrown in the fire.
Yeah, we out of here. We got no need for you. Which goes back to what we were already talking about. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and I will remove all the sinners and punish the proud for their iniquity. I'm going to kill all of y'all. Isaiah 65 and 17. For behold, I create a new Shamahim and a new Arats. The former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. They shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant them vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, my elect shall enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the Baruch of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. Now let's pause, because he said they're the seed. So if he said they're the seed, what's the first thing you ought to think of? Law, and then epistle letters. And if we have to read it, we shall. Because we're not going to get to Josiah today. It was just too much contained to say. I want y'all to know exactly what's going to happen at the end. Because that junk with that, I had already seen that Luke 21. I had seen it again. And then I just said, no, I'm not going to let that slide again. Y'all know what he mean by seed? Well, let's look at Genesis chapter 12. And then after that, Galatians chapter 3. Because he said they're the seed of Yahuwah and their offspring, and they'll be blessed. So these are the children who are children that are of faith. That's what I was telling the brother the other day. Like, Abraham was blessed strictly off of faith. No, I'm going to need 15. Abraham was blessed strictly off of faith. 15 and 4 or 3. Because he was like, this, how can you believe just off the strength of a word? I'm like, shoot, Abraham believed he was going to have a baby knowing, shoot, I'm old and my wife ain't got nothing that shoot. Her egg's gone. She done hit menopause. That thing empty in there. He said, you gonna have a baby. He said, bet that up. He didn't say how he gonna do it. He said, bet that up. He didn't need any proof to see. He didn't need to see an 80-year-old woman have a baby. You know what I'm saying? He didn't need to see that. And see, that's what our problem is. They say seeing is believing. If you got to see y'all work, you don't believe him. He wants you to believe it, and then you'll see me work, and then it'll be confirmed. What did the master say? The same thing his father said. He said, I tell you things before they happen. So when they happen, you'll know that I am he. Yahuwah said, I tell you things before they happen. So when they happen, you won't say your idol did it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he had to tell us. So I can tell you this stuff happened before it happened, so you won't turn around and say Molech did it. See, did you listen to that video that I showed you boy with that nigga rapping? Did you see how he slayed the nigga using the word? Now the same token, that ain't no dissing no King Solomon, but at the same token, he told the truth though. See, y'all ain't see it, but that nigga Murder Mook, man, I'm talking about damaged the nigga. That nigga say, boy, why your parents named you after a man who turned his back on God?
I seen that one.
But at the same token,
I used to watch the battle.
Solomon did though. But see, that there, I didn't see the battle. He was spitting the rhymes to Siegel and Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Busta Rhymes in the back, like, oh.
Yeah, he did say that. I seen that.
Yeah, but how he broke it down in reality, then he say you Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Murdered the nigga.
Yeah,
at the same token though,
Who was he battling?
he was talking about somebody he was battling.
Jewish name.
Yeah.
I ain't. Yeah,
It's
that's
like a
the
rap
only thing
battle.
Yeah, I guess I don't know who he was talking about. I didn't even till he got into it. But the way that he worked that Solomon in is the point what we be talking about. Cause what did he say? What in his rhyme he was like, what caused Solomon to worship false gods? Sinners. Sinners. That's what he worked in the rhyme. You know what I'm saying? Saying, hey, he turned his back on Yahweh behind this. He turned it back on Yah behind this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I mentioned that last night. Well, not because of that. And I'm mentioning people turn their back on Yah because they end up caring about people, places, and things that they ain't got no business caring about. You know what I'm saying? And then you feel like it's supposed to be all gravy and all good. Monte say Mook 3-0. See, I when I first heard of Mook, you know what I'm saying, I didn't know he was no battle rapper. I just knew he was a nigga from Harlem. I think he was on somebody's record, you know what I'm talking about? And a nigga could go. Yeah, I mean, shoot, you know, Dame had him on there with him and all.
Yeah, on the Breakfast Club.
Threw him in the movie and all that, but you know what I'm talking about? But it's the point of how he worked that in scripturally. You know what I'm talking about? To expose this fake, because basically he's telling the you ain't no Jew.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know what I'm saying? We know you lying. And then coming from when he coming from in Harlem, I know he done heard it. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know they got to walk past them niggas. You come out on the right day, you got to walk past them niggas in Harlem. Ain't nowhere in the world them niggas out there every week.
Hello.
Lying. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, Genesis 15:3. Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.